We have Jeremy Hockett, Assistant Professor of General Education and Art History, and he's going to talk about his favorite topic, which is getting students to register with and use Turnitin, a primer. So I'm going to pass it over to you. And go for it.
All right. I'm going to switch to my PowerPoint here. Sorry, everybody. Okay. So yeah, there's going to be Alyssa Galen, who's on the session today. She's also going to be talking about this, I think, in a future 12 at 12. So there should be a variety of things here to help you. There are already 2 of these available on the FTC site. If anybody needs directions or help getting to that, I can reach out to me. Today, what I'm suggesting or hoping that I can get you to convince you to do is to convince your students to sign up for their own account and Turnitin. So, I know a lot of people don't necessarily use Turnitin. I'm hoping most of us in the Gen Ed and humanities and social sciences do use this as a regular tool in the classroom. It is certainly helpful. It also helps us as an institution by cross-referencing. So if I get a student's paper that's turned in to a previous or former class, or they're copying a paper from a student from a former class, or they've gotten it from a friend who's a former class, we can easily identify these types of issues and nip it in the bud. So why use Turnitin? First and foremost, I look at it as a tool to help students so that they can check their work before they submit it into the classroom and either get caught with something unsuspecting, or so that they can double check and make sure that they've covered everything and caught all of the issues that they might have with references and citing. So it gives them a lot more agency and control over their own work, and I think it gives them a sense of ownership and power that they might not have otherwise, instead of kind of waiting and seeing if the hammer is going to come down. I think instructors benefit as well from having a visual report to help explain to students where they need to focus their attention if there are any issues of plagiarism or faulty referencing or citing. And then last, which is what I think Alyssa will be talking about in the future, is these reports can also be included if we need to submit a student integrity incident report form in cases of flagrant or horrifying plagiarism. So what here's, if you are unfamiliar with this, the incident report is under policies and procedures academics, and then it's the incident report form. That's not what I'm talking about today. What I want to convince you all of is to try to see if you can get your students to sign up for this so that they can continue to use this in the future. A lot of courses and a lot of instructors may not even use Turnitin, but this way the students can actually be using this tool to help them and proofread and double check before they submit into any course. Again, this also creates a database of work that we can use to cross-reference and double check for our courses if we do use Turnitin. And again, I would encourage all of you, if you have written papers, to use this on a regular basis, not to find and not to be punitive and go after students and say, oh, look what you've done, but more to make sure that they understand. This way we are all helping each other make sure our students know what is expected of them and know that they've got this access to this tool, so that they don't get into a situation where they're getting in trouble for something that they don't understand. And I think we all know that is very often simply the case. They've never been taught. They don't know what these expectations are. So I think this is a way to kind of lower the pressure a little bit and give them a sense, again, of agency. Now, there's 2 things that need to be done here. I encourage students to sign up. I use an announcement in the course and an email to encourage them to sign up for their own account. Now, to do their own account, you need to give them directions, and especially if they're going to be signing up for an account and then attaching this class to their class or to their account. So you can show them how to do that by, hopefully, if you've got your own Turnitin account already. If you don't, you can sign up using your aii.edu email, and that I'm not 100% sure of this, but that should automatically link you to any of your courses where you're using Turnitin. And again, if you have questions about how to turn on Turnitin, that's a different 12 at 12 that I can direct you to in the FTC site if you can't find it. So what you need to do is simply log into your account. The class ID is what you need to identify for one thing. And again, this needs to be unique for each course if you're telling students to attach this course to their own account. Otherwise, they won't have access to it. So you need the course ID, and then you need the enrollment key. So you get that through the edit cog or gear. And then the enrollment key will be listed in that area. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through this, in the actual Turnitin as well. And then this way you've got both of these elements that they need in order to get registered and attach their account to the course. So I've just set up, I'm going to switch this over to, so I'm just logged in. Here are courses that I've taught in the past. I've set up this generic class or generic course for today. So again, you can see that the enrollment ID or the class ID is here. To get to the enrollment ID, you would click on that gear. I've just put in enroll with an enrollment key. The courses, if they're set up through Brightspace, will generate its own enrollment key. I wouldn't mess with anything. I just keep the one that's already been generated for it. Once you've got the course, hold on, it takes a long time for Turnitin to do what they're supposed to do here, or to update and get back to where we want to be. So I'm going into the class. So I've just taken a student's, if you're unfamiliar with this is what the course would look like. You can submit assignments, but I'm going to view an assignment. I want to show you, if students are getting in or are setting up their own account and they're submitting their work, you're going to be receiving similarity reports that say 100% because they've turned it in, or they've checked, they've submitted in Turnitin, and they've looked through that and hopefully fixed errors. And then they're going to submit it to the class. So you may get a 100% similarity report, and you got to be sure that you don't freak out about that. Hold on, I'm trying to open this up. It's not letting me show you the report, actually, is it? Yeah, here we go. So once you get the report, what you would need to make sure, if you get that 100%, you really want to be careful not to automatically assume they've completely copied everything. And all you have to do is go to the, I'm not even sure what this is called, the all sources breakdown, we'll call it, and click exclude sources. And then you can exclude the 100% and the 94. You can click these and they'll show you where they were submitted. Both of these were submitted to my classes. So I can exclude those knowing that those are not part of what I want to double check. Now, as I go through, I'm not getting that match from the previous submission by the student. So I just want you to know that if you do this, it does take a little bit of extra effort on your part to ensure that you're not jumping to conclusions or penalizing the student for having copied somebody else's material, which in this case would be their own material. So that's a very simple, basic overview. The other thing that I want to show you is, can everybody see this? I mean, I hope everybody can still see that.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So what I do for students is to give them the student Turnitin registration. I explain to them, what they need to do to register the account. They're going to create an account, and both of these are in the handouts area. This will also be attached to the FTC archive. And you just basically fill these in for each of the courses, and you can have them sign up, attach the class to their personal account, and then that way they can submit, double check their work before they do their milestone submissions. And this kind of, I think, alleviates a lot of stress both on the part of the student but also on the instructor, because we don't have to kind of go in reverse and constantly go back and double check and hound the student, where when they have a chance to submit this at the beginning and they can double check their work and have confidence that they've addressed everything that needs to be addressed. And over time, they're going to build expertise with using Turnitin as well. The main reason I started doing this, and I'll end with this, the main reason I started doing this was because it's very difficult for them to find that Turnitin report, even if you use it in the classroom. It's a real bear for them to get access to that Turnitin report if you share it with them. So even if you have it activated in the course, they may not be able to easily find that report and address the issues that you're identifying and pointing out to them. So personally, I would like to, at least for the humanities, art history and those and social sciences, to start using this on a more regular basis, because I think it really is an incredible tool for students. And then also, I think it just benefits the institution. And of course, when we get to issues where there is flagrant academic integrity violations, this is an easy way to include supporting documentation. So I hope that is helpful to everybody. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, jhockett@aii.edu. Thank you. Have a happy Halloween and be safe tonight. Hopefully you get some good weather.
Thank you, Jeremy. Excellent information. Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.